So, as a recent college graduate, I'm not seeing my friends in large groups as much as I used to. And, you know, I've been looking for a way to remedy that. And I think I've found the answer. Okay, hear me out. Brunch parties. Everyone loves brunch. And as long as you can get people to sit down, they'll take care of the rest. They'll stay for a while. I think it's a good idea. Anyways, about a month or so ago, I set out to have a brunch party. But I only gave myself 3 days because I'm stupid. And this is that process.
Alright, so this weekend I'm hosting a brunch party, and it's already Wednesday, so I really need to start planning. Here's where my head's at right now. I've got to make a menu, send said menu out, get orders, and then prepare the food. And I can't be going into this stuff blind, so over the next couple days, I need to test these recipes out before the big day.
And let's just say that was a good idea because I messed up a lot. Before I could even start to invite people, I needed to make a menu, so I got started on that immediately. I had to make something familiar so that I could do it at scale more easily, but being how I am, of course I had to put some twist on it. Instead of doing a basic shakshuka like I've done 100 times, I decided it'd be a good idea to attempt an Eggs Benedict version, and I've never made a good hollandaise before. And oh boy, did that cause some problems. But before we get to those, I put some finishing touches on the menu and sent it out. And now all I could do was wait and see just how much I had signed myself up for. Well, I still hadn't gotten many RSVPs at this point, so all I could do was practice making the hollandaise. I'd seen that you could make it using a hand blender, shout out Kenji, and I've got one, so I figured why not try it out. Sure beat hand whisking it in my makeshift double boiler. This was my first time trying this technique out, so if it worked, it would truly be foolproof. The recipe called for an egg yolk, a little lemon, I'm just using a cheek here, some cayenne, I like to go a little heavier on that one, a little salt, and a whole cup of butter. One last minute Google, and it's time to send it. Here we go. Slow pour, slow pour. Okay, we've poured a good amount so we can start going faster. It's looking pretty good. And it's split. You can tell by how thin it is when I pour it here. Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Unfortunately, that was the last of my butter, so I'll have to try again tomorrow.
Alright, so it's been a couple days. I've got the final head count for you guys. I'm going to be making brunch for 10 people. 5 people want the Benedict, and 5 people want the French toast. So, we'll see what we can do about that. I'm thinking I can pre make the sauce for the shakshuka part of the Benedict. The hollandaise will need to be made day of, but that shouldn't be an issue. I can also pre make the custard for the French toast, I think. So day of, it shouldn't actually take too much time. I just need to find a way to soak a lot of bread and custard at once. I'm thinking I can probably use a sheet pan. Yeah. Getting to more of a grocery list. I think I've calculated I need about 25 eggs. I need another loaf of bread. What else? What else do I need? Tomatoes for shakshuka. I think I have enough cream, so yeah, probably just those things. Okay, anyways, it is getting very rainy, so I should get going to the grocery store before it's too bad. See you guys at the recipe testing. Alright, last night I was testing the blender hollandaise and it split 2 times and I ran out of butter. So I am back with more butter. There's no way this isn't enough butter. And I have a thermometer because I think it wasn't hot enough, and that's the reason it was splitting. So I am going to test today, and also I need to prep, just in general.
After that previous attempt, the first thing I had to try again was the hollandaise. Besides the butter not being hot enough, I think the cup I was mixing in was too large. I could tell that the blender head wasn't completely submerged, and I think it might have been affecting its ability to emulsify the sauce. I couldn't find a smaller cup that was the perfect size, so I thought that by increasing the volume of the egg yolk mixture before I added in any butter, it might help the initial emulsification. To do that, I'm adding 3 yolks instead of 1 and scaling up the rest of the recipe as well. This time I'm checking the temperature of the butter before I start, and that's kind of hard to read backwards, but I remember thinking, yeah, that's definitely hot enough. I'm going extra slow this time just in case it split last time because I poured the butter too fast, and immediately you can see that it's much thicker than last time, which is a good sign. I won't bore you with the rest of the process, but I kept pouring in teaspoon increments and making sure that everything was well mixed before continuing, and by the end, it was fully emulsified. Quick taste test because we always taste test, and yep, that's pretty dang good. Look at the relief on my face. One more taste, okay? Let's move on. Next, I'm prepping the sauce for the shakshuka benedict. I figure as long as the sauce is out of the way, I only have to heat it up and then poach the eggs in it in the morning. I'm not a huge fan of bell peppers, so I don't put them in my shakshuka, but I've seen them in a lot of other recipes, so if you like them, put them in. I dice an onion and saute it in a generous amount of olive oil over medium heat until it's starting to brown, and then I go in with the canned tomatoes. Once that sauce is reduced, I aim for a consistency slightly thicker than a pasta sauce, and then I pull it from the heat and store it for tomorrow. I'm also going to prep the custard to get as much out of the way as possible before tomorrow. It's pretty standard, I'm just scaling everything for 5 servings, and also instead of regular sugar, I'm using an orange syrup I made a while ago, and I'm going to top the French toast with some oranges in the morning, so I guess it's technically orange French toast. Unfortunately, the hollandaise won't keep for tomorrow, but at least I verified I can make it, and I got to do a quick taste test. Dang, look at that clean plate. That means I liked it. And that's all the prep work done, so I'm just gonna store everything, and I'll see you guys in the morning. I woke up a little late, so if I look a little rushed, that's why. Honestly, there wasn't much to do on the day of. I was just executing what I had planned the night before. I got a couple things going in parallel, so that helped with the efficiency. The orange whipped cream was super easy because of my stand mixer. I found a great vessel for soaking the bread, and the oven worked really well for keeping the French toast warm. I didn't manage to film much after my friends started showing up, but here's what the shakshuka benedicts looked like when they were all done, and this is how the final table came out. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. Everyone liked their meals, and we all stayed at the table for a couple hours just talking, so I would say the brunch party was a success. Alright, so it's been a while. You might have noticed my hair has changed, and I think it's about time I do a retrospective. First, I'll just say that I think it went really well, even though quite a few things went wrong last minute. Someone showed up without RSVPing, so I had to split a plate. I miscounted the people who did RSVP, so someone got the wrong thing. And it took me a little longer to cook than I thought, so we ended up eating about half an hour after I thought we would. But at the end of the day, I think people appreciate a home cooked meal, and it got people together. So, yeah, I think it was a worthwhile experience. I can confidently now say that I do think it is a good idea after doing it just one time. Alright, now let's get a little bit into the nitty gritty. I think people are probably wondering how much it costs to host something like this. I had 11 guests, so including myself, that was 12 plates. Of those 12 plates, 7 were French toast and 5 were Benedicts. For these cost estimates, I'm not going to be including any pantry staples that I had. Some examples are like the syrup that I served with the French toast and butter for the hollandaise, because I think most people have those things at home already. Just sitting in the back of the fridge, kind of. And if you don't, it's a pretty negligible cost, probably. I'll break it down by dish, but I'm not really going to do an itemized receipt for you guys because I don't think that would be particularly useful. So, getting into it, the groceries I bought for French toast came out to, drum roll, $17.24. And that's for 7 servings, with each person getting 2 slices of French toast. Yeah, that's a lot better than I was expecting. Where I'm at, you could easily pay $17 for a plate of French toast at a restaurant. Any hip brunch spot is you're walking out of there with a bill of at least $20 probably per person. So 7 people for $17 is really good. Even if you don't care about any of the other reasons for hosting a brunch party, I think financially, you're saving a lot of money there. Anyways, moving on to the shakshuka benedict. This is for 5 portions, keep in mind. The groceries for the shakshuka benedict came out to $19.01. That is an average cost of about $3.80 per plate. I mean, $4 for a plate of Benedict, that's just kind of insane. I mean, if I found a restaurant with that kind of pricing, I'd be there like every morning, I think. Of course, you have to put in the work of actually making the Benedict to reap those cost savings. But I think once you get it down, like the shakshuka Benedict I made is really not very much work. The sauce is fairly simple, and then poaching the eggs is way easier because you can do it in the sauce and not in like a big pot of water. I mean, you don't have to make your own English muffins. I didn't. Just buy English muffins if you're lazy and put them in the toaster. And it took me a couple tries, but hollandaise is pretty easy now. You just need to have enough of the emulsifying agents before you start adding the butter. Just a few more notes here. The grand total for the whole brunch was $38.90 for 12 people, so about $3.24 per person. That's pretty great value. Easily for 12 people, if we went out to brunch, you're looking at like a $250 bill, which is like, let's do some quick math. I mean, that's a 640% markup. And I mean, there is a time and place to go out to brunch, I think, still. But I think for my purposes, having like a party of 12 go out to brunch, it just isn't too feasible. They're gonna put you at a table where it's hard to talk and it's gonna be loud, and they're not gonna want you to sit there for 3 or 4 hours after you finish your meal, which is what happened for us. Yeah, I think doing a brunch party at home was the right decision for me. Those are my thoughts, and I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I encourage you to try hosting a brunch the next time you're thinking you want some eggs benny or hash browns. Maybe don't go as big as me. 12 people is a bit stressful, but do brunch for 4 if you got family or just a small group of friends, and you'll have a good time. So, yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I mean, you are one of the very few. So, if you have any thoughts on my brunch or other ideas to make brunch better, please leave them in the comments and I'll try to engage with those. Yeah. See ya.